Welcome back, Toddler Tribe. Today we're talking about energy, and I came with big energy today because this topic really, really matters. Last episode, we're diving deep into our Little Linguists series, talking about the language of your littles and your language when you approach them and have conversations with them. So I went through the talking triangle with you and I talked about the 5 meaning-based language links and meaning what you say and saying what you mean. But today I want to talk about those nonverbal sections, and there's 4 of them. There's 4 nonverbal to 1 verbal, right? That's quite a ratio. And the reason it matters so much is that your energy enters the conversation before you do. Think back to any recent interaction you had with infants, toddlers, and preschoolers. How your body showed up and how the energy field that you brought with you allowed for instant connection or them to be a little wary. Now, let's dive a little bit deeper. Energy is a very yin-yang experience, and it comes from within us. Subconsciously, we carry muscle memory energy with us, but also we can choose our energy. So that's kind of complicated, right? When your body is signaling to you fear, anxiety, worry, overwhelm, you're just struggling to make sense of how it is emitting from you, while also, because you're a self-actualized adult, realizing that that's how you're showing up in that moment, in that room, in that conversation. And so actively trying with your frontal brain to make different choices. It's a lot of work. Sounds like it, right? But how your energy moves in front of you is how kids are ready to engage with you. So I want to talk about those fears, worries, anxieties, and overwhelms today. Does that sound familiar or relatable to any of you? There's a number of different fear, worry, anxiety, and worry categories, if you will. There's fear of the unknown. We're going to a new place. We're seeing new people. We are skipping a nap. We are staying out past bedtime. We are doing something that you know is going to test your little one's ability to be outside of their box, their routines, and their norms. And it's causing you to show up in that moment with usually unintentional, subconscious, fear-based energy exuding from you through the language links we talked about. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see the talking triangle. I'm holding it up in my hand. And affect, your energy, which is what we're talking about right now, is that bottom, largest foundational section. And it influences your body language. It influences your tone, and it influences your facial expressions. So when you get to that new place, you're in the new situation, and you are filled with worry. How is my child going to handle this? So are they. They feel yours. They grab onto it, and they approach the situation with the same energy. What about a different style? What about a pre-existing, repeatable outcome that you're having with your kids? Every time in the last 3 months that you have said, after lunch, it's time for nap, they lose it. They melt down. They're angry, they're mad, they're frustrated, whatever they're feeling, right? They don't want to take a nap. Maybe you're on the nap edge. I'm not sure where you are in your journey right now. Or if you're a teacher, every time you say, time to clean up from lunch and get ready for nap, there's that one kid in your infant toddler room, that one kid in your preschool room who just explodes, whines, cries, yells, throws. This is patterned behavior. Yes, there's a stimulus and a reaction involved, but you have evidence of this pattern of behavior that the stimulus is your words. And so there's fear, there's worry, there's overwhelm, and there's anxiety around even speaking the words because you don't want the outcome you're getting. That's energy. You will feel your muscles tighten. Your heart rate will start to increase. Your shoulders will reach your ears a bit more. You might even shake a little. Your voice will tighten and get tense. Any of this sounding familiar? Fear of the bedtime routine? It is a human experience. Something new versus something consistently happening, but you're having the same experience. How do we shift? How do we shift from that fear-based engagement to showing up to the moment and shedding all of that? Shifting the energy for how we show up to the moment. Well, that certainly is the trillion-dollar question, isn't it? And decades of research, decades of people just anecdotally sharing what's worked for them in their lives has filled books and movies and research papers, and it all comes down to one nugget of human emotional truth. Your energy needs to show up calmer, and they will be too. It's incredibly challenging to think about when you're feeling so weighed down by the evidence that you have that your kiddos are just going to lose it again, and the fear that you have of the unknown. But let me share this with you. Because when I realized this, everything changed. You ready for this? I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget. The antidote to anxiety is not achievement. Those decades of anecdotal stories and research, we have focused on the wrong thing. We're looking now for evidence that they can manage the bedtime routine without issue. So we can celebrate that and feel good inside that. We're looking for evidence that we can show up to a new place or stay out past bedtime and it's all going to be okay. We're looking to soothe that. But we're skipped a step. And so we can never actually soothe ourselves enough to show up with the energy of calm, engagement, and curiosity. The antidote to anxiety is not achievement, it's acceptance. That's what it is. It's accepting the moment, this one, the hard one, the loud one, the scary one, for what it is. Whew. Can you do that? Even in small doses, small measure, can you sit inside the moment and just allow it to be what it is. Can I be honest with you? I'm having one of those moments right now. Because I think you probably hear the train going by my house. My heart rate got faster as I heard it approaching. My lips made a very thin line across my face. And my breath got a little ragged. I'm going to use a really strong word right now. I hate the train. I hate it because I have evidence of this over and over and over. Every time I go live on Instagram, every time I start a podcast recording, every time I am with somebody else guesting on their show, it seems to be that the stinky train goes by, makes all this noise, either ruins my train of thought or ruins the episode altogether. Is that true? Is it? I know rationally it's not true. I know that. But subconsciously, I have so much anxiety and fear around the reality of it because it's happened so many times. In fact, can I tell you something else? Look, if you can. I'm holding up right now my earbuds, my headphones. Before I started this episode, I plugged them in and I was like, nah, I'm sure it won't go by today. Fine, I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to take the chance. I'm going to do something that gives me a little worry and anxiety, but we're going to try it. And sure enough, the dang train went by. And is everything still okay? Yes, it is. Am I still here on the microphone? Am I still able to talk to you? And actually, did it give me the most extraordinary real life example in live time? Also, yes. Listen up, moms, dads, teachers, caregivers. This is important stuff. I had an episode around distress tolerance with the author Joanna Hardis. This is distress tolerance right here. And that's what you need to develop, the ability to accept the moment in front of you and how it feels, even if it's not your desired outcome. So when you walk into that new situation, or you approach that repeating patterned behavior moment in your day, if you can say to yourself, I have evidence that my child will probably melt down, but I'm choosing to keep my voice calm when I say the words that will likely make that happen. I'm choosing to move my body to a different place on the floor so that I am with them in the moment when I say it. I am choosing to keep my face calm, loving, and neutral when I say these words. I'm choosing an energy of allowance. When you feel different when you show up, they will feel different too. Is it a process? Of course, because they have evidence as well that they need to overcome. But this is a game changer because I just listed the 4 language links that are on the bottom of our talking triangle. And if you can shift all of those very intentionally, then the words that come out of your mouth will be heard differently, processed differently, land differently, and you can start to change the outcome too. Okay, Toddler Tribe. That was pretty awesome and crazy all at the same time. Grateful for the live time example in my own life because, as you know, well, actually, I have a lot of toddlers in my life still, just not my own, right? So the 24/7 marinating in little people life that you lead in your homes, in your schools, in your programs, that's not my current life. But notice that in every other area of life, these psychological applications still exist. So the best advice that I can possibly give you is if you want to show up differently in the triggering moments where you have evidence things are going to go south with kids, is start to practice how you handle those triggered moments when it's not kid related. It's a safer place. I can't have a conversation with that train. I just can't, right? And it has no feelings around mine. So there's not going to be any cross contamination of feelings and triggering and overwhelm. That's an entirely self-guided experience that I just had. And that is the safest place for you to start practicing. All right, Toddler Tribe, you know what to do. Until our next episode, stay mindful and proactive as we transform the toddler years.